We're not here lizarding. There we go. So usually I punch him right there. And then he goes. But for a little bit there, he didn't do that. I think my little buddy's getting tired. No more free tacos. Don't know. He's been talking trash to me for 4 or 5 years. A little more, a little less. I don't recall, but he's been servicing me and keeping the lizards away. Godzilla, that is. For those of you that might have heard my little explanation of why I use him. 12, 14 years ago, the second version, the American version of Godzilla came out. And Taco Bell contracted with Paramount, Fox, United Artists, whoever it was that put out Godzilla. And they, Taco Bell, presented the prospect that maybe this little chihuahua could be the attack dog. It kept us all safe from, yeah. And they put these things out, and I bought him. And I used to think he had a battery back here in his rump. He doesn't. He got some kind of a round device in there. You squeeze it, and of course he does his thing. And I thought, well, that'd be neat. He could lead in all my tapes, all my thought for the days, and he does. He's pretty good at it too. And that was the first time you just saw I punched him and nothing happened. But I'd punching him in the wrong spot, evidently. Anyway, it's Christmas Eve. Now, actually, it's Christmas Day, but still night. It's, 1:21. So it's Christmas Eve to me. And I thought, well, propriety dictates that I get on here and wish all my fellows out there a Merry Christmas. Probably do a Happy New Year next week. But when I was a youngster, long time ago, we used to call it have a cool Yule and a frantic first. So, have a cool Yule and a frantic first. And over the years since I grew this face hair, I've had people ask me, why don't you play Santa Claus? Well, I have a problem. I'm not real temperate of Rugrats. It's kind of a snotty way of calling little kids. But a lot of times little kids are ill-mannered. They get around you, they start bellowing and bawling and screaming and just doing all kind of antisocial stuff. And I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I want to whale their butt until they shut up. Well, Santa Claus, of course, doesn't do this. Ho, 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 bam, bam, you know. But, so I've never done Santa Claus. I'm told that in certain circles that I'd make a pretty good Santa Claus, visually, that is. Anyway, Merry Christmas to all the older folks out there, and Merry Christmas to all the Rugrats. I had 2 of my own Rugrats, and my wife had 3 of hers, and they were fine children, but can't tolerate other people's. Just, it's not part of my persona, so I don't do it. Let's see. What do I got? I got I don't think of this as politics, actually. Y'all know from time after time after time that I've said it, that I am a Democrat, and I am a left-winger, and I fancy myself unbigoted, fairly a liberal individual, progressive they call that now. Boy, I mean, we are getting beat upon daily, 24/7. There's somebody out there, the Koch brothers or folks of their genre, that are just pouring money into these. They've gone out and bought up, I think, about 95% of all the radio stations in the United States. Then they went out and hired. They get some good hiring because they've got very capable and competent people that for 24/7 a week and days and months, they put forth the right-wing agenda. And along with that, they tear down the Democrats. They call us communists. According to them, we hate the country. I mean, we detest the way the founding fathers formulated the country and whatnot. It's not true. Not true. We're just as patriotic as they are. But it boils down to, other than the presidency here recently, they've been able to physically buy every election that's gone along. County, state, I have to assume municipalities, villages. The Republicans have been doing a damn good job of selling their brand of politics because they have a plurality in state governments, controlling state governments. I think your major cities, other than maybe New York and some of the bigger ones in California, they even have a commanding lead in owning those too. But one of the things that's been going on that your right-wingers have been blaming on the Democrats, which is just a bunch of hooey. As you all know, here recently, there have been several incidences, that's a good word, where what's the word I'm looking for? White cops, that's not the word I was looking for, but anyway, white policemen have shot some colored young men, almost teenagers. One particular one, there was a video of him going into a bag store. I think he stole some cigars, cigarettes, whatever. And when our store clerk came over and confronted him about it, I didn't see him punch the store clerk, but he pushed him, And the store clerk got up and kind of confronted me, and he threw him down, went out the door. I mean, this guy, he was a big fella, too. I think he was 18, but Lord, he was like 6'6", something like that, almost 300 pounds. I mean, he was a big guy. And after he had basically decked that store clerk a couple of times, he went out the door, and then he must have reconsidered it. He came back through the door and pushed the guy again. Yeah, to say the least, he was in a foul mood, or he was extremely arrogant. He just he didn't want anybody telling him that he couldn't do anything he didn't want to do. Well, in the course of things, he got out in the street, and there's no more video, and I don't have any way of knowing what he actually did out in the street, but came a cop. I don't know whether the cop had been called, happened by, whatever, but he evidently recognized that this guy was in a foul mood, and I think he tried to arrest him, calm him down, whatever. And the information I have is that the cop tried to put him in the car. The guy didn't want to get in the car, didn't want to do anything. He was totally belligerent. And he reached through the window of the car and tried to get the policeman's gun. And they had some wrestling match, confrontation, whatever, but you got a white cop and a humongous black, almost young adult teenager, and they are having a wrestling match over the cop's gun. Now, my information about all the things that happened is after that is pretty sparse. But by one fashion or another, this kid had wrestled the cop for his gun, and then he removed himself, evidently some distance away from the cop. And now the cop has his gun out, and I think he's, halt, stop what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. But the end result was the kid ended up dead down, I think, on his face in the street. The cop shot him. Information I have, whether it's accurate or not, is that the kid was coming back at him in a very confrontational manner. And from all that had gone down, the cop figured, hey, I ain't gonna be a deep doo-doo, okay? Blow, bam! I don't know how many times he shot him. Several. Killed him. Well, it's very unfortunate when a young adult is killed by anybody, whether it's the same Anglo or by an Anglo and you're a Negro. It's just very unfortunate. It's way past unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. But from what I can gather, the policeman at some point was afraid for his life and thought that he didn't have any other option. And this guy was still being confrontational with him, so he says, pop a cap in you. Several caps. Killed him. Well, seemed like it was in Ferguson, Missouri. And of course, everybody of color came out, hit the street, started, well, they didn't do it right away. There was a lag time between the time that the boy was killed and there was a grand jury that met to see if they should indict the cop for a crime, which they didn't. At this point, there had been mobs in the street in Ferguson, I want to say, for 2 or 3 weeks. They got that grand jury together in a hurry. And at this point, the people of color, at least some of them in the street, decided, well, it's time to take it in our own hands. We're going to get even. They were burning down buildings, burning down police cars, just generally raising sand. And actually, the righties, your righty talk shows, all those people were blaming the Democrats for creating this situation. I don't know how they, it's ludicrous. Democrats wouldn't do that. I mean, we're just as patriotic as the next state, but President Obama, the what's the world's biggest lawyer, Attorney General, everybody that opened their mouth about it in any way was branded as, a communist, left-wing pinko, that was encouraging these people to go out and burn things down. They might have even said they encouraged the kid to go in there and wrestle a clerk, and, It's been ludicrous, though, in the time since that has happened. Right-wing radio and TV has just branded us Democrats as the cause of the whole thing. It's all our fault. Well, now we've had some copycat stuff. In New York City in this past week, one of the people of color who thought that he was being mistreated, hadn't gotten a fair shake, was mad about the fact that a DA out in Missouri hadn't indicted a cop that, to me, really was doing nothing but protecting himself. Anyway, this cat gets himself a gun, goes walking up the street someplace. There's two cops sitting there. It's not funny. Two cops sitting in their cars eating lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever it was. Blows them off, hits them in the head. Shot in one, shot in the other, killed the two cops. He had put something on Twitter. Yeah, they killed one of ours, we killed two of theirs. And this dwarf at least had the common courtesy after he killed the police. He went down into one of the subways and got up on the stand by where the track goes through and killed himself. I think he did the right thing. Saved us money having a trial. Saved us the money of, keeping him in prison. He did the right thing. He just walked in that subway and shot his brains out. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Oh, now I know where I'm going. Now, I've been listening to, once again, the right-wing talk show hosts. And the one that particularly strikes me when I get off of dialysis, I'm coming home in the afternoon, someplace between 3 and 4:30. There's a guy named Michael Savage. And he is putting out the possibility we are on the edge of a civil war because of the way these things are going. And it's all my fault and all my fellow Democrats. That's where the civil war is coming from. We're too soft on these people. Well, I have a theory about the black population in the United States creating a civil war and taking on essentially the white population. And I don't know if they've ever sat down and contemplated what would probably come of it, because the white population, due to the fact that they don't feel as put upon by the cops, because most of the cops are white, they've showed very little impulse. You get your right-wing radicals that you don't want to burn Washington down, but as a group, they go to work, they eat their meals, they just try to lead their lives. And now we've got people out there drumming up the possibility that there will be a civil war between the coloreds in this country and the whites. And I want to tell any of the coloreds that might be out there that they really need to use their heads. And one of the things they need to do is get out their Big Chief tablet. Now we have 300 million people in the United States. And the blacks can consist of someplace between 12 and 20% of that population. I think it's it's 19, I think it's close to 20%, but they are, we'll say 20%. 20% of 300 million. is about 60 million. I think that would be correct. That's a lot of black folks. They all get ticked off, but they pick up their guns and they come out and start shooting whiteys. Well, the downside to that is the other 240 million people in the United States are either Anglos or Latinos, and Latinos are white. Latinos are Caucasians. So I'm going to add them in the group. So you got 60 million blacks. You got 240 million whites. Now, unless my arithmetic escapes me, that puts the blacks in a very, very overmanned position. They're all going to end up dead. Most of the white guys that I know, of course I'm 75, but most of the guys that are, say, from 20 to 60, they're all packing. They got arsenals in their house. I mean, it's amazing. You'll go to one of the local stores down here and just try to buy 22 shells, and you can't get any because as fast as they come in, these rednecks down here can go in and buy them all up. So, if and I doubt seriously that it would be a radical fringe group of the blacks that would put them even in worse shape. Let's say we had 60 million blacks and 5 million of them decided, hey, I'm going to go out and kill every white sucker I can find. Well, I want to tell you something. The other 240 million Anglos are just going to decimate the white or black population. Of course, I suspect that we'd have martial law. There'd be all kind of constraints. You know, you'd see the military out in the street. I mean, the real possibility that this fringe nutcase outfit that's talking about, you know, hey, go out and kill all the whiteys. They're gonna end up dead because there's just so much stacked against them. And 240 million, that's a lot of folks. That is a whole mess of folks. And these guys, these young, arrogant, baggy pants to blacks that are out there that are, thinking about doing this, they might be surprised, but half of their own ethnic group would probably come after them themselves, so their percentage of population need be less. So if they want some advice, I think good advice is go back and do it like Martin Luther did, you know, peaceful, what is that word? They had the marches and all that stuff, you know, and essentially in their time frame they succeeded to what they're doing, and these people need to go back to that peaceful protest, because if they don't, all those center cities where all these people live go be a mess, because it's still essentially a Anglo country. We've got a lot of illegal aliens, but they are Anglos, and a lot of rednecks down here. They call them colored, but they're not. The only ethnic groups in the United States, you've got the blacks, American Indian, because they're Mongol, or they came from Asia, across that ice bridge. And then the other ethnic group is Anglo. They all came from Europe, including Spain. So, you black guys out there that are being having the bums rush put on you by all these white talk radio stations describing how America's going to hell in a handbasket. You need to quit listening to those guys, because they're going to get you in deep trouble, get an awful lot of you killed. And 60 million up against 240 million doesn't work. Anyway, it's Christmas Eve. I have my, in case anybody thinks I'm putting on about my, look here, come on. Yeah. I'm ready for Hillary. And I am. Now, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to some other Democrat running and winning. I just got to be a Democrat. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, most of the problems that we're having in this country right now were created by Ronnie Reagan. You know, old man Bush, I never did feel bad about him. He seemed to be a pretty pragmatic guy, but his son was a nutcase. Ronald Reagan was a joke. He's just a good actor. Mm-hmm. I love America. I do too. But I never felt like Reagan had any idea what was. He certainly didn't know economics, because a large portion of the problems that Obama inherited from George Jr. started with Ronnie Reagan. So, vote Democrat. Other than Hillary, I don't know. I wouldn't mind Joe Biden. Everybody goes, Joe Biden. But Biden's not a bad guy. He says what he thinks. Sometimes his, mouth comes open, his brain falls out. But at least he's honest about his feelings, and a lot of these people are not. Anyway, biggest problem Obama's had is he's black, and they hate him. You take and look at the states that are so dead set against Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Quit calling it Obamacare. It's just like the old Confederacy. I think they are living in the past. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Gonna quit. Have a cool Yule and a frantic first. Not much going to happen around here tomorrow. I went to my son-in-law's place today, or stepson today. Had a good time there. And that's about it. I want to say Merry Christmas to my sons, Carl and Kyle. Kyle's supposed to show up here. Maybe he will. I don't know. I hope so. Hi, Ray Marshall. Hope you get some snow up there so you get a white Christmas. I don't think it's in the cards. Ridgeway never got that much snow. Not really. Occasionally, have a good snowstorm. But Ridgeway did not get a big storms. Richard Stennett. Probably call you tomorrow if you're around. We'll sit and chat for a while. Tracy. Still want to get with you. I'll call you. I still want to get with you on that run down to Austin. Going to have to wait until the holidays are over so I can organize my time, because my dialysis days now are all backwards and upside down. Normally, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, now the heck I was. Sunday, Tuesday, Friday. It's just a mess. After the holidays are over, I'm supposed to go back to my regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Richard Heitzenregger, I hope all is well with you. I think I mentioned it the past summer. I went on the web and I saw your doctorate emeritus, I think it was. You looked pretty pleased. I was glad for you, guy. Jim and Babette, hope you're doing good, Jim. I understand you had a little bump in the road there. My understanding also is that you're doing good now. I think Babette, I'm hearing something about one of your knees or both of them or something. I've got my left knee. It intermittently gives me problems, but I'm going to try to stay away from all that wood butchering stuff that does not thrill me at all. Fran, top of the day to you. Jim Kersey, evidently your health is all right. I haven't heard anything negative or derogatory, so looks like you're cooking with gas. John Zimbardi, talk to you on the phone. My buddy and your buddy David Burke. Finally, just couldn't pull it anymore, and that hurts me because David. One of the things that people here on my thought for the day don't know about me is, but David Burke used to come by my house when I was 14, 15, in the winter, 20 below zero, and we'd go out and check his traps. Well, I never, of course, as soon as David left me alone, I quit doing that. But David never did. I mean, David was like Daniel Boone, I guess, right up until a point where he couldn't be Daniel Boone anymore, which just in the last few months. David has gone down. Brian, top day to you. Try to get up to see you here in the next few days. Howard Van Rensselaer, the mayor of Randolph, New York. Fine fellow. Me and Howard were in the same class together. And Mike and Pam Lishadone. Looks like you're having a high old time down there in Florida. Quite a bit of stuff coming through on Facebook. I enjoy it. And here, I don't know, it's been a couple of months ago, Mike went to a karaoke place and he sang, I think, Volare. Anyway, Dean Martin, he was going after Dean Martin. He was pretty good. So, that's about it. Can't think of anything more to complain about. And I'm gonna punch him right there. We'll see if he does it. But anyway, Merry Christmas. And I'll probably do this next week. Give you a Happy New Year. Anyway, things are good at Siegel South. We're about, 5 months away from heading out for Siegel North. And I'm looking forward to it, although Tiana wants me to stay a little later. She wants to garden down here. I think it's a distinct possibility when temperature gets up to 100, she's not going to be all that hot about gardening, but you never know. So we might get up there in June and we might get up there in July, but we will be there. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.